Good to tell you boys to another video, man, and I got a short video for y'all boys. I'm finna actually match y'all boys up so I can tell y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and just break it down to what the video really about. This is what was that? This is, in my opinion, on most I'm gonna tell you that I'm blank off for the shit, get my nerve. Hold on. This is, in most people's opinion, the best way to make the most money starting out as a truck driver. Now, I would give other advice, but we just gonna just keep this shit plain as possible, smooth as possible, and fast as possible. Because I'm now currently getting off the clock. And I waited all day to make this video just because of the fact that I didn't wanna fuck it. I'll get to that in a second, so shit. I'll be back. I'm putting Macho Boys up in a second, so I'll be back.
Cause I'm hard up in that front and spin that band. Fucking be spinning again. If you lucky, bitch, will give you a chance. Can't get that 2 6 shots, that's so mad.
Alright guys, man, I'm back. So this is the main way, and I was off what I know, only 2 ways to get your CDL unless you get a shot of a Captain Crunch box off the black market. The 2 ways you can get a CDL off the main ways is 1, buy your own CDL, go to a college, do your own CDL, your own money, or I think you could I believe you can get a grant for this option. Like if you buy your own CDL, I believe you can also get a grant to cover your CDL. Who knows? But other way is it's a program most mega carriers, I don't see most, but some mega carriers have called, it's like GY something. Get your CDL program, something like that. Basically, they pay for your CDL for you. So let me break these 2 down, and I'm gonna explain what happens, so what they really are. So the buying OCDL is pretty much self-explanatory. You go to a college, you find entry or a recommended college you think is good enough. You spend the money. They're training. Correct me if I'm wrong. In college, I didn't do this way. I went through a program through a company. Y'all already knew that I went through rail, but excuse me. I believe it's like a month, I want to say, of training. You get your CDL, pass it, you're good, right? I recommend getting your manual shit because test not in the manual. I recommend getting your manual. I'd rather you have an auto restriction because getting that off is a lot more easier than getting the manual, because you can easily just go get a manual restriction, and then if you want to get your license updated to get the restrictions off your auto, you can easily just go there and take the auto test. Anyone can drive an auto automatic, but no one can drive a manual. But that's besides the point. So it's like I want to say when you go get your you go through your CDL school and get your CDL. After a month trial, I want to say it is. It may be more, maybe. Well, I'm pretty sure it's probably more. Probably like a month, possibly more. After that, you finish. You get your CDL. Woo woo, Gucci. You're done. But like I said, this is off what I know. For all I know, when you go to a school, it can be 2 months, it possibly in 3. Who knows? I just know the basis of a CDL program or CDL school is usually around a month, maybe a month and 2 weeks at max. So that's pretty much it, bare bone. At that point, you're just looking for a company that will hire you, and a company, pretty much, yeah. After you get your CDL, bio CDL, you pretty much look for a company to hire you. It's really simple. Now, the get your CDL program when you're going through a company is a whole different ballgame. Well, it's not a whole different, but I'm gonna just tell my experience. So for me, call up a company, and they have a program for you. What they'll do is they'll have you apply for the company like a regular job. Cool. They call you, and if usually it's gonna happen, if let's just say it's another state, they're gonna send you a way to get there. Usually it's by bus or by flight or car. They have you drive. Some people drove 10 hours. I'm not gonna lie. I can't drive. Some people have to drive like a couple hours. So based off what's more expensive, what's cheaper for them. So they'll have you transported to their area. They'll get you a hotel, and that process, you'll be there for usually a month of training. They'll get you your CDL, and then after that, then you go on a road test. So it's like 2 parts to it. So the first section is like just studying, getting your CDL, and after that is the training section of it. So after they train, you can still somewhat get fired. Technically, you can still get fired. Like you hit, like you'll crash to somebody, they can still fire you, or they feel like, oh, you're not road safe, or not safe for the roads, they can technically still fire you. So, excuse me. So with that being said, still be an A game. But other than that, pretty much, damn, my damn throat dry as hell. But after that, after the road test, if they feel like you're good, so after that, you takes like 2 months. Wait, let me not say that. It usually takes 2 months, sometimes 3. I say 2 to 3 months, and that's the first month is getting your CDL, and it's like 2 to 3 months of training. But usually it's a month. Place like Prime Inc. is way longer. my twin did Prime Inc. and he was out there for like, I think he had to do like 50,000 miles for training, and that's like 6 months, maybe more. Well, usually more, depending on how much fruit you're getting. It's probably like 6 to 7, 8 months, depending on what it is. If you're just not getting fed any miles. But that's besides the point. So I'm gonna say, well, from my experience, 2 months. It could have been less than me, but I chose 2 months for vacation purposes. So after that, after you finish that, then they make you sign a contract. So they have paid for your CDL. It's a contract you will sign that telling them that you will be with this company for a certain amount of time or miles. Usually it's miles. And I think for most cases, like 100,000 to 120,000 miles. Regardless, you're going to be there over a year. I don't give a fuck if it's usually 100,000 miles a year, but let's be real, no one at Medicare is getting 100,000 miles a year from starting out. I'm sorry, you're not getting that. You know, you're going to average like fucking 1,500 miles a week. That's nothing. You know, at least when you first start off. I'm not saying after that. You know, if I'm with a Medicare right now, and I don't hit over 3,000 miles. May not sound believable, but I have a couple times. I run my full clock. I've been like 3,000 miles, but I'm more experienced. I'm not them 2 years now. So, damn, time fly by fast. 2 years of training. Shit. Anyways, so they make you sign that contract. You know, we're just gonna say 120,000 miles. So about a year you take like a year and 3 months, a year to 3 to 6 months. What's it at in that range? So after you finish, then you can leave the company. But in between that, if you was to leave for any reason, it doesn't matter what happens. If you leave, you will then owe that company back all the money, and usually it's around 7 to 9 grand. That's actually more money, and it's maybe because they had to train you too. That's probably why they said that. But it's more money if you just buy your own CDL. You can get your own CDL for like, you can get it for like 1 to 5 grand. You know, some people spend like 2, 3 grand on that shit. Bam, you can get that shit. You can say that shit working at Walmart, but if you're really dedicated, well, not even that, because anyways, but. So that's pretty much the gist of that. If you leave at any point in between when I finish your contract, you're then responsible for owing back all that money. They're going to see a fat bill, and it's over with. That's how that works. Now, this is why I say going a route of getting your own CDL is a lot better. Mind you, excuse me, this is come up all the dome. I just got off work. I decided to make this video, so all this fresh off my head. So this is why getting your own CDL is a lot better. This comes from experience of a person who went through a Get Your CDL program. I went through rail. I'm telling you, you're not going to make the money you want to make. Now, well, let me say this. When you go to a CDL program with any of these companies that provide it, usually 9 times 10, they have shit pay or low, but they're not going to feature no miles. That's the whole reason why they have the program. So they can get new people in and make it like, oh yeah, you're gonna get your CDL. They make it seem like it's free, but it's really not free. That's how they trick you. They'll say, oh, we pay for your CDL, but not once did they mention that you have to pay it back if you leave. They just gonna say, we're gonna pay for your CDL. The moment you finish that training, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, man, you gotta sign this contract. Yeah, man, sign this contract. So if you leave this company, we gonna bill your ass. That's how it is. But besides that point, getting your own CDL has a lot of perks. And every perk is better than going through a company. One, when you get your own CDL, you can go to any company you want to right off the back. Two, when you do get your CDL, most companies that pay you, there's a lot of companies that pay good that will take you in as a new company, as a new driver or new CDL holder, as long as you have no experience. That means you ain't drove for no other company. You have 0 experience. For example, you have some tanker companies, I want to say Pilot does it. I want to say, don't quote me on it. I want to say, I think, was it Oakland, Indiana? I think one of them, they might do it. But I know for sure, even like Old Dominion. Anyone who knows Old Dominion is LTL company. It's a big company. It's a big company, but it's not like these Medicare like, you know, Prime and shit. They actually pay good. I know for having good pay and good benefits. Great company. Go there, you're going to have a good trucking career off the back. I'm just going to put it like that. So places like that. So you're going to make a lot more money, ain't going to be a lot more experience, have more experience and a better career. Because if you get experience in doubles and triples, the world is yours. Or tanker, it's over with. So that, and then you can then leave any company when you feel like it. You're not bound by that company because they helped you out some type of way. So that's just a few perks. When you get your own CDL, you get your CDL through a company, you know, you're kind of fucked. You have to make that decision. Damn, do I really feel like going $7,000 to $9,000 in debt? But for example, I'm gonna feed you my perspective on how I did it. I did go into debt. I have already paid it back and shit. It's not that serious. I mean, you can, if you my age, you can kind of pay it back pretty quick. Versus someone who got a family and shit, maybe not as easy because, you know, with rail, when I first taught the rail, they were telling some the lowest I can get it was damn near $200 a month, 125, 200 a month. So, you know, when you got a family, you got your own bills and shit. That may not seem like a lot until you think about all the other bills people who have families have. But you my age, you know, 21, 22, 23, you be all right. But, what's it called? You got to make a decision if you want to pay that bread back or do you want to fuck it out. I left at 9 months. I stayed real for 9 months and I didn't even hit nowhere near 100,000 miles. Ain't that crazy? I think I was sitting at around in 9 months, around, I think 60, maybe less. I was sitting around 60, you feel me? And, you know, 12 months, you know, usually, if you have good miles, 12 months, you will be sitting around 100K. So I was sitting around like 60, maybe not even that. I ain't gonna lie, maybe not even that. But I'm real, some days, some weeks, I would run like 1,000 miles. Like dead ass, I'll be having like 1,000-mile weeks. And that's the downside to it, is that when you get your CDL programs or you make kids that have these opportunities, they usually pay you or give you shit miles and pay. So you know, I'm doing that shit running 50 some miles, 50 some, getting paid like 50 some miles doing flatbed. You feel me? I was like, I couldn't do it no more. Like it was, especially OTR. It wasn't the reward wasn't, or the in my opinion, it wasn't worth just stuck out a little bit farther. Now maybe I could have been. I'm younger. I didn't have no real bills. You know, older people. If older people have families, this not. I strongly would not recommend you do this unless you just don't give a fuck. Because if you have real bills, your family to take care of, they're not going to pay you good. You have to think out for, and then what you happens once after you think you're gonna handle it, if you gonna think you're gonna be able to handle it, and when you do get into it and you start realizing this shit ain't fucking worth it, you ain't gonna leave to find another company after 6 months of experience, and you dumb niggas not gonna be good either. They might pay you an extra 20 fucking bucks. You might let's say theoretically you had you was getting paid $800 a week from that one company. Then you might go to another company after 6 months. They might pay you what, 900? It wasn't even worth leaving. So that's why, you know, when I tell people, if you do decide to go the route of going through a company, then just stick out the whole contract. Or at least, if you're going to leave, hit the year mark. But at that point, if you already hit a year at that company, just see how many miles you have left and just finish it at that point. But if you're going to leave the company, at least wait to a year. Leaving at 6 months, 9 months, I promise you it's not worth it, because most jobs that pay at least decent is not going to only want at least a year of experience. Like dead ass, a year of experience. So that's it. The best way to make the most money, in my opinion, and not even just my opinion, most people gonna tell you the same thing. Get your CDL. Anybody who got their CDL through a American carrier, I'm pretty sure they would have they regret doing it, because I regret doing it. I wish I would just said fuck it and bought my own CDL and just spent a couple thousand, went to school, went straight. And I got my shit in I got my manual. I gotta go back to school and get manual if I wanna do it. It's like other components do, like especially like I want to do like oversized shit, but that's besides the point. So yeah, so I'm just be honest, take that and use that to your best advice. You plan on getting your CDL in 2026, I promise you the best way to do that shit is to literally buy your own CDL, or I'm gonna give you the best plan. Talk to companies that pay good money. You can go on YouTube and find companies. I'm just say older men, for example, that pay good money. And then my bad, I was getting a call from my own job. But anyways, like I said, the best way to really do this shit, when you talk to some place, let's use older men, for example, call them and ask them, hey, do y'all have any suggested schools? If they might give you something, might not. If they don't give you some, just look up your own suggested schools and then recall them and say, hey, do y'all approve this school? If they say yes, take that school. If older men approve for a school, any like LTO, any company that's LTO that pays good, or Tinker that pays good, that hire new grads, if they tell you a certain school is good, you're Gucci. Because if they think that school is approved, any other company gonna think that shit is approved. If it's dry van, flatbed, all don't think it's approved. Because tanker is a job that's be taken very serious, especially tanker. But yeah, so do that when you do go to that school, get it. After that, the worst coming of, this was the best part about it, the worst coming of, let's just say if these companies don't hire you, they go to one pays good. You could just go to one of these main carriers. Go to Prime, go to JB Hunt, go to Warner. All these companies gonna still hire you. The only thing is different between you and the people who got their CDL from them is that you can leave anytime you fucking want to. The difference with no consequences. That's the best side of it. Then that's the best side. That's like a worst come show. Like most people, there's people out here who be going to all the other companies. One dude, he went to Cisco and he went there and he went to Cisco. I think like a $90K first year. You know, bro, no driver who was working at these big companies that went to a get your CDL program is making nowhere near that. But my first year, I was nowhere near I wasn't even, well, I don't say nowhere near. I was far-fetched, I admit. But I was not even since in the 70s. Dead ass. I'll be brutally honest with you. I was not in the 70s. So, and you know, that's because I was getting fed such baby miles. You know, my checks would be so stagnant. I had 1 week, my highest check from rail was like $1,200. That's OTR. Hell, I can work 40 hours in this company and still make more than that shit. Like, I can work 40 hours in this company right now with and still make more on this account and still make more than $1,200 on a 40-hour work week. That's like half. That's in other words, half my hours in a week. That's how crazy it was. So, anyways, there's people making $100K first year, $90K, $80K. Anything with $80K really is good as fuck for your first year. So you have people doing that shit, but only people doing that shit people buy their own CDL. You're not gonna be able to do that shit going through a company. I've never seen someone do it, and I doubt you're gonna be able to do it. So other than that, that's my best advice. Get your own, go to school, buy your own program, and if you might get lucky, you can possibly get a grant to cover your shit. And then also, not even that, also, I missed something. Now, soon I'm talking fast. I'm thinking fast and I'm talking fast and I'm thinking. That's fucking me up. But also, once I did miss, most places like Old Dominion, if they do take new grads, they also have a reimbursement. So it can reimburse the money that you spent on the thing. So let's say if you spent $5,000 in school, when they hire you, they'll reimburse you the $5,000. Now that might be under a contract. I'm not sure, but it sounds like, and it makes sense to be under a contract. But who knows? I haven't had no experience in it, so who knows? But in general, they have reimbursement ideas, and you can probably get a grant to cover your shit. Who knows? But for the most part, you know, you can just buy your own CDL, go to a higher paying job, get your experience, get better experience, and you probably be at that job a lot longer because they're paying you good, better money, and then the raise is gonna keep increasing. So you might not even leave, and if you do leave, you have experience at better companies, and then that trains you better. So the world is yours. I mean, I don't know, but that's my best experience. You know, if I advise you, if you are on more of the younger side, I have people who like 18 try to get a CDL. That's perfect. Do 18, 19, 20. That's 3 years of experience. What's called S3 year experience. Of course, 18, 19, 20. You got to be in state. You can't go out of state borders. But that's 3 years of East State experience. You can then go to another local company and still work. Or I'll try to apply for one at 22. You have 3-4 years experience. They're gonna hire you. As long as you keep your record clean. But that is my opinion on the best way to make the most money in CDL. Buy your own CDL, work for an LTL, or try to apply to more. Well, some LTLs may do it. I'm not sure. I know for sure Older Man does it. But try to look for more of an LTL company or a tanker especially. Those will be the best ones to get you any job. If you've done tanker, you can get any job in trucking, pretty much. I'm not gonna lie. Even like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, try to look for those companies. That is the best way to make the most money out of trucking. So yeah, and that's the best way to do it. So other than that, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope it was very informational. If you have any more questions, y'all can comment it down in the comment section, and I will try my best to apply to everybody. But man, I work a lot and I study a lot, and I do other content. So other than that, I'm always say, man, about the video.
Yeah, Lil Russ in his speech, but I got beat drip. I compare Lord to my little brother just to hit a nigga. Best believe he gun you down. It ain't